I don't know, Ray. This is too intense for me. Look at this place.
Don't be such a little bitch, Elfy.
Look, you don't need to be mean all the time, Ray. I'm just saying, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have anybody.
Look at me, Elfy. I have two coils. I could never be alone. I have two coils, Elfy.
You think because you have 2 coils, you're more significant than my single coil?
Let me make something real clear, Elfy. I'm the rayest of the ray.
You know what, Ray? If you're anything, you're a dick. You're a dick to me, and I fucking hate you.
That's fine. That's fine.
What up, YouTube? Welcome in Between Two Beards. I'm Justin, aka Dubb.
I'm Ryan.
And today we are doing one of the first, because we've never done one before. We're doing a dual tank review. Not because of anything specific, but because they're so similar that it's kind of hard to...
Long story short, right after Christmas, we got an email from CoilMaster saying, hey, we would like to send you the Elfy and the Ray if you guys would be willing to review them. We said, yeah, sure. And then we kind of got busy with other reviews and the whole month off and everything, and we just hadn't got to them yet, so we figured let's just knock them both out in one video.
And they really are very similar to where it'd be hard to squeeze 2 reviews out.
Yeah, it's like the Elfy is basically the single coil version of the Ray, and it's the dual coil version. There's a few differences. We're going to go ahead and dive down close and show you all those differences. I'm going to do a build on both of them, and then we'll be back to talk about it.
Up close is going to take a minute, guys.
Yeah, so let's do that right. All right, guys, here's going to be an up close. This is going to be a little bit longer up close because we're tackling both of these at the same time. But this is an up close with the Elfy and the Ray RTAs, both by CoilMaster. The boxes are the same, just styled a little bit different. You've got the Elfy RTA with the little RTAs kind of ghosted in there, and then there you've just got a picture of the Ray. But otherwise, they both have the specs ran down on the back, and there you go with that. All right, in both of them, you have this little CoilMaster Lotto card. You've got each individual user's manual in each box. Both boxes are going to come with their respective extra goodies, the extra post screws, the extra O-rings, and each one comes with an Allen key. These are different size Allen keys because the Ray has bigger Allen head screws than the Elfy, but regardless, they're both in there. Both come with a baggie of cotton. Now this is interesting because they did send us some cotton, and the cotton they sent us is like basically cotton bacon, but these are just organic Japanese pads, so yeah, they each come with that. They each come with an extra piece of glass. And here we go. Right here we have the Elfy, and right here we have the Ray. As you can see, style-wise, they are pretty much the same. Obviously, the Elfy is a 22mm, the Ray is a 24mm tank. The Elfy comes with a standard 510 drip tip up top, so you can use any 510 drip tip you want. The Ray comes with a 810 drip tip up top. I have tried a couple different 810s, and they do work, so yeah, they're just basically standard drip tips. But I kind of like the aesthetics of the Elfy better because they've got the chimney is black and there's no gold ring, and then on the Ray you've got the silver chimney with the gold base, and they kind of seems like they didn't know what they wanted to go for there, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. They both have top fill, so nice big kidney holes there on the top on both of those, and then yeah, on the bottom both of these have nice protruding 510 pins, as you can see right there. So again, I definitely wouldn't use a single coil RTA on a hybrid mech mod, but I would say they are both hybrid safe. They both have peak insulators around the 510 pins too. So anyway, yeah, there you go. So to get into these guys, just take the base, unscrew it like that. And then there you go. The Elfy has this two-post design that's kind of offset over to the side, and then they have the wick holes that you just drop your wicks right in. And yeah, this one is super easy to build, super easy to wick. This one builds vary differently, but wicks kind of similarly to the Serpent SMN with the wick holes. The wick holes are actually bigger on this than the Serpent, but regardless. And then you've got your raised deck, so it's kind of that GTA style build deck there. And then the Ray, you have a very typical velocity style deck here, and then you just have these channels right here on the corners for your wicking. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the up close. I'm going to go ahead and throw a build in both of these real quick. I just made up. I'm sorry, both RTAs do come with coils in the package. When we got them, we went ahead and built with the coils that it came with, or that they both came with. Used those, they vape perfectly fine. The Elfy came with a 1.5 or 2 millimeter Clapton. That vaped fine, but I'm going to throw a fused clap, 2.5 millimeter fused Clapton in here, and then I've got a couple 3 millimeter fused Claptons that I'm going to throw in here. So I'm going to speed this up and build both of these, and yeah, we'll get to it. Alright, and there's the Elfy all built and wicked, and you can see I've got the wick just kind of hovering right above the base there, and I've got it filling those wick holes, but not just, you know, jam-packed in there. So that's about what you're looking for there. I want it kind of close to the airflow and centered as much as possible, and yeah, let's move on to the Ray. Alright, now for the Ray, this one's a little bit trickier to wick because you just have these little side channels here to stuff your cotton down in. So what I'm going to do is kind of get my scissors right on the edge of the deck. You've got the AFC right here, and then you can kind of get them on the edge of the deck right there. I'm going to chop them right there for now. And then I'm going to thin them out quite a lot, and I'll probably have to make some adjustments on how long they are here in just a minute. And yeah, see, that's still way too much cotton, so we're going to go ahead and chop some more of that off there. And there, that should do us just fine for right now. So I'm going to grab some juice and get the cotton wet so it'll stick into those channels for me. And there we go. That's basically what we're looking for right there. We want the cotton to fill those little channels, but not just, you know, stuff them completely full in there. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put both of these back together, fill up with juice, and we'll be back and talk about it in just a second. Be right back.
All right, guys, that was the up close of the CoilMaster Elfy and the CoilMaster Ray RTA.
Yes.
Basically, what we're going to do, we're going to take these one at a time. So let's start with the Ray.
Let's go with the Ray. We're going to go over the pros and cons of the Ray. All right. The Ray, it's...
You notice that part in Ghostbusters, whenever there was like a sarcastic moment, like, why the fuck did that just happen? They always kind of been like, Ray.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When someone asks if you're a god, you say, yes! Well, that's kind of sums up how I feel about the Ray. It's not a bad RTA, but it's kind of just dim-witted.
It's a little dated. You got your velocity style deck, which is easy to build on. We all know how to build on a velocity style deck. Wicking could be done better. You've got just those notches on the corners to wick. As long as you get the wicking right, you'll have no issues. I've been lucky. The several times I've wicked this, I haven't had any leaking. I've had a couple times where I got a little bit too much and I had some dry hits. But you got to find that happy medium. This isn't forgiving like some other RTAs are on the wicking. You got to get it just right. Because if you don't, it's either going to leak or it's going to dry hit. You got to get right in the middle.
Right. This is definitely a, hey, I'm 2014. This is how you have to wick me kind of thing. It's a velocity deck, which, let's face it, is tried and true. Dated, obviously, but tried and true, no less.
Yeah.
Like you said, the wicking on it is very touchy. You have to basically put juice, as you saw in the up close, you have to basically put juice on your wick and use that almost like a glue
yeah.
to kind of sit there. But wait, there's more! You know, you can't use too much wick in there, because if you do, when the cylinder comes down over it, if it'll packs that too tight, it's gonna dry hit.
Right.
So you got to really find that happy medium.
Flavor is good.
It's good. It's good. It's not great. It's good.
It's not the best I've had. It's without a doubt not the worst I've had.
Right.
It's good. The flavor's
good. I think our biggest bitch with this RTA is going to be the fact that 2 mil juice capacity is absolutely, in this day and age, not acceptable.
I filled this up right before we started filming this segment, and I'm already at half a tank.
Right.
It goes quick. Any dual coil RTA is going to suck a lot more juice than a single coil RTA or a sub-ohm tank normally. There are some sub-ohm tanks that just drink juice, but regardless, 2 mil is it's a deal breaker for us. Being out on the road, I can't be filling my tank every 10 minutes. I just can't.
And literally, when we first got these in, right after Christmas, basically, after CoilMaster contacted us, we were just kind of chilling out, just like, hey, dude, let's just vape on them, see how they are, you know, and we did, and I'm like, dude, like, every fucking 15 minutes, I'm going to fill it back up, and it's very fucking deceitful, too, because it looks like a 3 or 4 mil size tank, but it's not.
It holds 2 mils.
When you put that, when the center cylinder comes down over your wick, it takes up any fucking space that you could have hoped to have had.
There's not much room between the barrel and the glass, so that's another thing to watch out for. Thicker juices, some of the 80-20s I've tried in this have trouble getting down to the wicks because that space is so close. So keep that in mind. The vape quality is fantastic. I have no complaints on how this tank vapes. I just wish it held even 3.5 mils of juice would be better.
Right.
Yep. They come out with a bubble tank that holds 4 mils of juice. Then I would use this all the time.
Yeah, I could probably rock this a little bit more often. I still, the biggest issue for this on me is outside of the 2 mils of juice. It's just that deck. I'm not a big fan of that. The way it has to be. I shouldn't say the deck's a velocity deck.
It's easy.
It's easy.
The
wicking method on it is just very, very dated. This looks like an RTA that came out 3 years ago.
It does. It does. It reminds me a lot of the Griffin from Geek Vape. The way the Griffin kind of counteracted that was it had that ring that threaded down that you could stuff your cotton in. But regardless, so overall, I would give the Ray a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it about a 5 out of 10.
Vape quality is excellent, but the juice capacity and the wicking method is not so excellent.
I don't think the vape quality is excellent, though.
I like it.
I think it suffices. Yeah. I think it's okay, but that's why I'm gonna give it a 5. I can vape it, but I guarantee you I'm not reaching for this RTA first.
Yeah.
So
that's basically the Ray.
So that's what we have the Ray. We'll bring back some comparisons on what we think about it here in a bit.
So moving on to the Elfy.
The Elfy.
The Elfy is a 22 millimeter.
It sounds like this is like somebody at CoilMaster's naming their cat. And they're like, what should we name this one? Well, it's a single coil. Well, my cat has a single ring on its... How about Elfy? I call him Elfy. And that's the fucking name.
Oh, man. Yeah, so it's 22 millimeter single coil. Super easy to build. Super easy to wick. I think the flavor is better on this because the chamber is so much smaller.
The flavor is superior on this RTA.
The airflow, however, can be very, very choppy on this one.
If you do not wick it correctly.
It's not the wicking, it's the coil more than anything, because they both came with their own coils. Both their coils vape really nice. He's got the stock coils in both of his. I have fused Claptons I made in both of mine.
By the way, that reminds me. Thank you, CoilMaster, for supplying coils with your RTA that are vapable.
Yeah, it's not... I like Watofo's products, but the coils they're packing in everything sucks. So it's nice having coils in the box that were vapable.
Yeah.
Now, the Elfy came with a 2 millimeter. It might have even been 1.5 millimeter Clapton.
Yeah.
It's tiny, tiny little thing. Put that in, vape it at like 25, 30
I
watts.
think we know tiny. So
Yeah, sure. Vape it at like 25, 30 watts. It vaped nice. The airflow was nice. The airflow is very loud.
it can. The more you
sounds,
close it off, the whistly it can
gets,
get.
but-
I've got this closed off probably about 85%, or I've got it open up about 85%, and it's good. But you could still probably.
It's kind of loud. It's kind of loud. Now, he still has the stock, that tiny ass little coil in his. I put a 2.5 millimeter, just a fuse Clapton, 28 gauge fuse Clapton in mine. And full open now, the airflow is insanely turbulent. Insanely turbulent. I don't know what happened there. Just covering more of the airflow hole in the RTA or something. The 2.5 millimeter coil fits in there no problem. But it made it super choppy, so I had to close the airflow down a little bit to kind of, and it did smooth it out, but it made it a little more
So
whistly.
I figure about a 2 millimeter coil, and you're going to be good.
2.5, you'll be all right.
yeah.
Just keep in mind, all the way open with a 2.5 millimeter coil, it is super, super turbulent.
So this comes down to our number one bitch with this RTA.
2 millimeter.
How is it?
2
It's
mils of
your
juice.
dual coil is 2 mil capacity, and your single coil is 2 mil capacity. It is not. It is just not acceptable.
Yeah, it's not enough. It's just not enough.
If you're going to do something like this, that's fine, but offer a bubble glass.
Something.
To
some kind of an
increase your
extension
juice
to
capacity.
make it bigger. Yeah.
This is another one that, unfortunately, it drinks juice, guys.
It does.
It drinks
Even a
juice,
single
and
coil.
you're going to fill this thing every hour, every half hour on the half hour, just to keep up with it. I rock this. I don't usually take RTAs on the road yet. I haven't gotten that point, but I do take these on the road with me in the hotel room.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I vaped this for about 2 days, 2 nights in a hotel room. I'm like, man, fuck, I am losing feeling in my arm filling this whore every fucking half hour.
I did rock both of these on the road. I took them as my only vape for, I don't know, a couple weeks or whatever. I've rotated them in and out just to test them. And yeah, they vape fine. They vape fine. It's just every 10 minutes having to reach for, try to, steer the truck and fill the tank. It's just kind of, the 2 mil is a deal breaker for us. Some people that don't care about juice capacity, that's not a big deal then. So
some more pros on this, guys. I will say, I like the aesthetics of it. I think that you got your little CoilMaster engraving there and everything. It's a nice looking tank. It doesn't look unprofessional.
I like the look of the Elfy better than the Ray, because the Elfy on the black, I've got the black one, it's all black. And then you've got the Ray that the top and the bottom are black, and then the barrel silver, and there's
fucking ring.
there's just a gold ring for no reason. There's just a gold ring.
Anybody out there that is trying to develop a new RTA or a new RDA, get rid of the gold ring. Please.
For the sake of the beard
It
sanity.
looks so fucking terrible. Okay? Anyway, one more big con for this this tank. Threads, not the greatest.
Threads on both of these are kind of scratchy. They're gritty. They're not great.
I mean, I'm glad. I mean, it's not like I can't remove the top cap, but you can feel.
I have more of an issue of the threads on the barrels than I do the top cap. The top cap's fine. The threads are tiny, so you got to turn it like 85 times to get the top on and off. But the threads on the barrel, trying to get them lined up, and then once you get them lined up, they're pretty gritty.
But I mean, even on the top cap on this, at least for me, compared to some of the other products that we've reviewed in the past, you could definitely feel the choppiness of the threads.
A little bit, yeah, for sure.
So, not that they don't work, they function fine. It's just the fact that
make sure you get them on there right, because they're so small.
I don't think it would take much to cross
thread
these,
easily.
So
I'm going to go with a 5 on this one for basically the same reasons.
I'm going to give this a 6. And the only reason I'm going to give it a 6 is because the vape on this, guys, is spectacular.
It's not my favorite single coil RTA vape.
No, it's not. But the vape that I'm getting off of this is more than adequate for me in my vape style. The only reason I'm not using this more on the regular is because I don't need a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger arm. Like, I need to fill my juice again. Get to the filler. I just don't want to do that. It's just not my style. they fix that, I'll be honest with you, I could definitely see myself rocking this on a daily basis.
CoilMaster releases bubble glass for both of these and says, here you guys go, here's a 4 mil capacity glass. Then
Quit your bitching!
I would have no issues rocking these on the road or out or doing anything, but just for me, 2 mil, I at work more than I'm at home.
Right.
So at home, it's not a big deal. At work, it's a huge deal.
Big fucking deal.
Fix the 2 mil capacity, and I would absolutely recommend these to buy. Again, if you're someone who doesn't care about juice capacity, 2 mils is fine. Then yeah, for sure. They're not expensive. I haven't really priced them since we got them, but I think you could pick these up for like 30 bucks.
30, 35 bucks, I think. And that's the other thing too. They're both priced very similar, so it's really just one of those things you got to make the decision. Do you want a single coil?
Do you want a smaller single coil? Or do you want a little bit bigger dual coil? It's up to you.
Doesn't matter how much juice they hold because they're the same.
It's the same, yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, is it beard approved? I would say
we're gonna give it one of these.
I'm gonna open up a new category. It's beard tolerable.
It's beard tolerable. I like that.
Beard tolerable.
Would I recommend you away from these? Maybe.
If this is your first RTA, I would almost say you're just looking for some good flavor, something cheap or whatever. I mean, there's probably a ton of other RTAs I could recommend, but I would say, you know what, dude? If you like the look of this and you like the vape, if like let's say I had a buddy come over and he's like, dude, I really like the vape.
Right.
I would say, dude, go ahead.
Super expensive.
I would recommend the single coil Elfy over the dual coil Ray.
Yeah.
I just think it's a superior tank. For many reasons, as we've just stated.
Right.
But I'm not going out of my way to throw this recommendation at somebody. I think they're tolerant. I can tolerate these tanks,
now,
but unfortunately,
if someone says, "Hey, I have a $35 budget, I want a single coil RTA. What do you recommend?" This isn't going to make the list. I'm going to go with the Serpent SMM or the new Kylan Mini that is amazing. For a single coil RTA. If someone said, hey, I've got a $35 budget and I want a dual coil RTA, would you recommend the Ray? No, I would go with
you Bravo.
Bravo, the original Kylan. There's the list goes on and on. So these probably wouldn't make my top recommendation lists.
I mean, the only thing, I do prefer the flavor off of this. What the fuck are you doing? Triple coil. I prefer the flavor off of this opposed to the Serpent SMM, but very...
Oh, you're nuts. The Serpent's flavor is far better.
I like the... I just get a really good flavor off. Maybe it's just this particular juice. It's just... But I mean, overall, I'm still going to go for a Serpent SMM just because it's an easier deck to... I mean, it's not...
It's not easier to build on, but it's not even easier to wick for a single coil.
Yeah, it's just the fact that...
It holds twice the amount
I like
of
the
juice.
fact you can use a bigger coil in the Serpent SMM. But anyway, I'm not doing a comparison video. I'm just simply saying this is vaping tolerant for me.
I like that. Beard tolerable.
Beard tolerable.
So not beard approved. We're not going to tell people not to buy it.
I'm not going to diss it. I'm not going to praise it. I'm just going to say, guys, it's a thing. If you like it, I'm not going to deter you away from buying it. If you decided to go with something else other than this, I'm not going to dish you for going for something else. That's how that...
CoilMaster will probably never send us anything again.
That's okay. You know what, though? I got to be honest, though, man.
Their toolkits are so wonderful, and apparently their coils are pretty freaking good because the ones that came with
I want
us
to
are
be
great.
completely upfront with you guys. CoilMaster was actually very generous to us when they sent us this stuff. They sent us a bag of their cotton, which unfortunately is just rebranded.
It's rebranded cotton bacon, and if you guys know us at all, we don't.
If you like cotton bacon, this stuff's pretty good.
Yep.
Us personally, I don't like it. They also sent us a really nice vape mat that is just, it's huge. It's
bigger.
Fucking massive.
It's 3 times the size of the one that we have.
It's fucking massive. But overall, I want to thank CoilMaster for sending us this stuff. We really do. I do enjoy the Elfy. It's just not to the extent that I can use it in my everyday lifestyle.
Right.
But having said that, guys, you know we're on all the different social media sites there. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's all at Inbetween2beards. And if you want to drop us a line professionally, or of course just say, hey, what the fuck's up? Our email is inbetween2beards@gmail.com. You diddling it a little bit?
A little bit. But anyway, guys, until next time, vape on.